Morocco. It's not for everyone. For years, this country has been near the top of our list of places to visit. Nestled in North Africa, where the Atlantic Ocean kisses the Mediterranean, Morocco is a tapestry of contrasts, where every corner of this country tells its own story. It's a place that overwhelms the senses. Getting lost in the maze-like Medinas, with their endless nooks and crannies, where vendors hawk spices of saffron, cumin, and paprika. Their aromas mingle with the scent of fresh mint tea poured from silver teapots. If you're looking for a relaxing get-away-from-it-all holiday, Morocco is not a good choice. But if you're up for something quite chaotic, it's hard to beat. Sure, there were times where we felt like fish out of water, but isn't that what traveling is all about? Every unforgettable trip starts with a good story, so we will start here, in Tangier, where we taste mint tea for the first time, and break bread on communal seats while having the most remarkable dining experience we've ever had. We stayed in Tangier's new town near the municipal beach, and this is a newer part of town, definitely not as old as the Medina. And when we got out of our taxi, we didn't really know how we were gonna get our keys to our unit, but we just showed up outside the apartment gate, and a man next door running his shop started speaking French to us, and he motioned us to come inside with him, and he put us on this elevator, met us on the 4th floor to show us our room. These small interactions in broken French was just the first of many, many wholesome moments that we had with people on this trip. I'm so glad that our first stop in Morocco was here in Tangier. I think it was the best introduction to the Moroccan way of life. We were able to walk everywhere and just kind of cafe hop around town. Of course, we had to have our first mint tea at Cafe Tingis. The great Anthony Bourdain came here, so we had to check it out. I envy the way people can just sit at these cafes alone and occupy themselves. But I think our favorite mint tea was the one we had at Grand Café de Paris. I mean, look at those colors. All of that mint, wow. Okay, did we come to Tangier purely because of an Anthony Bourdain episode? Maybe. Are we mad about it? No, because this next place absolutely blew our minds. It's a hole-in-the-wall prefix menu with maybe 20 seats. They use only local ingredients, specifically a lot of herbs from the nearby Rif Mountains. And when I say prefix, I mean you don't even have a choice of what to drink. For starters, you're given a plate of fresh olives, roasted walnuts, and warm bread, along with a very unique juice made of raisins, figs, strawberries, and herbs. We were slurping it down. It was almost like a smoothie.
Hello. That's good, boss. Good, how are you? Yeah, that's good.
Very good.
That's good.
Yes.
Family is good.
All good, yes.
House, garden, PC, that's good.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect. You're welcome.
Thank you.
Trying shark meat for the first time. You couldn't tell that apart from another fish.
Next was our first taste of tagine, which is a traditional Moroccan stew with meat. This one was fish, veggies, herbs, all slowly cooked over charcoal that sizzles as it's brought to the table. Some more fish with lemon, and for dessert, fresh fruit with nuts and honey.
I really want to make sure I mention just how special that restaurant was, the seafood restaurant, which I'm forgetting how to pronounce because it's in French, but I'm going to put it right here so I don't forget. You know, we go to a lot of these places where you read online, they're supposed to be so amazing, and a lot of them are. We're very lucky to have a lot of those experiences, but this one in particular was very memorable. And it just makes me think, why do more places not do the set menu? These are just random thoughts I'm having while I'm going on a little grocery store run, but I don't know, something about the set menu makes a lot of sense to me. I mean, clearly these guys have perfected these 3 or 4 dishes, and you know, I'm in a new country, a new place. I trust them more than me to pick out something that's good. So yeah, I just really enjoyed the experience of a set menu. And just to reiterate, if you are in Tangier just for one day, I can't recommend that restaurant enough. even if you have to wait in line, that is a memorable experience worth having.
Okay, maybe our most anticipated day of our trip was to Chefchaouen, or the Blue City. This is again one of those places that you see online and think, wow, how can this place be real? We always try to balance taking organized trips like this with our own independent exploration, but you just learn so much more about a place when you have a guide. Our guide has lived in Chefchaouen all his life, and it was really special to walk through this town with him. He first took us to this natural spring located just outside of the Medina. The water source comes from the nearby mountains, and it's a communal watering hole for locals and visitors. We saw people washing fruit mainly, but I think people even do their laundry there. So the backstory of why this town is painted blue probably isn't what you think. Chefchaouen was first painted blue by Jews who landed here in the 1930s. On the run from Hitler's growing reach. They painted their homes blue to remind people of the sky, the heavens, and ultimately God's power. The bulk of the Jewish population left for Israel in 1946, but still, every spring, the local government hands out paintbrushes to help keep Chefchaouen's signature look intact. Another less poetic explanation of the origin of the blue paint is that it apparently repels mosquitoes by mimicking the look of running water. I don't know about that because if it were true, I think a lot more blue cities would exist in this world to purely keep the mosquitoes at bay. Anyways, it was so cool seeing all the blue walls and vibrant decorations, but my favorite part was stumbling upon this communal oven. This guy was here baking cookies for his shop. Lots of people don't have their own ovens in their homes within the Medina, so they can come here and bake bread, cook food, really anything they want. After that, we had some free time to have lunch at Cafe Sindbad, where we were told we had to try goat cheese. It's a notable part of Moroccan cuisine, especially in regions like the Rif Mountains and the Atlas Mountains, where goats are commonly raised. So I had the goat cheese salad, and Max had a veggie tagine. It was a quick trip, but such a memorable day. This right here was my personal highlight of our time in Marrakesh, staying in a traditional riad within the heart of the Medina. Riads can come in all shapes and sizes, though most have less than 10 rooms and many have beautiful rooftops to have meals and watch the sunset. The use of color on this rooftop was so beautiful, the terracotta greens and the pinks, and most riads have this open roof concept down to the main floor. Our room was just behind that wooden door. We made it to the belly of the beast, the place where most tourists visit because of the access to the Sahara Desert. If you want to go into the Sahara, you'll more than likely have to make a stop in Marrakesh. This was once purely a market settlement where caravans carrying gold, salt, ivory, and spices from sub-Saharan Africa passed through. It quickly grew into a major economic and cultural center due to its strategic location on trade routes. I was a little let down with the Medina, honestly. I kept seeing vendors selling like the same things, which in my mind meant that a lot of these quote-unquote Moroccan souvenirs, Moroccan goods were actually just like mass-produced from China. I also really disliked that motorcycles are allowed to drive within the streets and the narrow roads of the Medina. There was one time that I could not even breathe because all I could smell and taste was motor oil in the air. The air just doesn't circulate well because everything is just so jam-packed. I really did think the Medina would be much more authentic. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking exactly, but a lot of what I saw was catered to tourists. And yes, I am a tourist, but I don't like feeling alienated into experiencing a place purely because I'm not from there and have certain interactions because so. Also, I felt like everyone in this Medina was trying to scam you. There was a boy on his bicycle, and every time we left our Riad, he was telling us we were going the wrong way. He wanted to escort us to the big square and for us to pay him. That may work on some people, but I mean, we've been to 45 countries at this point, and we're just not falling for that. It just gets hard to trust people when all they really want is your money, which is how we felt most of the time. Okay, so we felt like we needed to get out of the Medina and head towards the coast today. So we found this day trip to the ocean, and along the way, it was advertised as a stop to see the Moroccan Christmas tree. I'll put a picture on screen, but basically these goats climb on argan trees and eat the argan fruit. It creates a visual representation of a Christmas tree decorated with a bunch of goats. That's not exactly what we saw though. Welfare groups have raised concerns about the safety and mistreatment of these animals used for tourist purposes, so I think it's actually illegal to put the goats high up in the trees, which a lot of people were doing to create this effect. But nonetheless, we did make a stop on the side of the road where a lady brought her goats over so we could view them, but our driver did encourage us before we got out of the car to give her a tip. We then took another stop at an argan oil factory where ladies were crushing the nuts by hand, and we learned about the many uses of the oil before making it to our final destination. I think I could stay here for a month and be a beach bum and chill. It felt similar to Tangier and Chefchaouen combined. It has the ocean breeze like Tangier, but the colorful and charm of Chefchaouen's Medina. I think this might be the most authentic Medina we saw. We actually saw a guy weaving a carpet, so I was happy to know at least some of these products are produced by hand. I really wasn't feeling too hot this day. I had a cold and my nose was just like constantly running, so we just took it low-key, walked around the Medina, had lunch, and went over to the city walls. These ramparts were built by European military architects to protect the port city in the 18th century. Stretching along the seafront, the walls have lookout points and even cannons still. It's also one of the best vantage points in Essaouira to see the waves crashing and the fishing boats. We had to go down to the tide pools and touch the water ourselves.
Okay, last night in Casablanca, and I always have this feeling when we're about to leave a place that I want to check every box I can because I don't know when we'll be back to a place like Casablanca, Morocco. So one of the things we haven't done is see the mosque at night. And I'm so glad I came over here. I took the bus and I wasn't really sure if I was on the right bus, but there was this guy that was super helpful and told me exactly where I needed to get off. People are so friendly here in Morocco. That has been absolutely a takeaway from our time here. I just can't explain enough how hospitable, how friendly, how just happy people are that you're even here and exploring the country. And I think that's a cool thing, and that's not something you see everywhere. That's definitely not something you see everywhere. And sure, there are, you know, the tourist scams and people trying to take advantage of tourists and stuff like that. You're gonna have that everywhere. And I feel like sometimes on the internet, on, you know, forums and everything, you'll see a lot of people talk about Morocco in that way. But until you're actually here and you actually experience it for yourself, I do have to say that has not been my takeaway at all. You're definitely gonna have that, especially in places like the Medina, but that comes with being a tourist anywhere. That is not the overarching takeaway I have of people from Morocco. The Moroccan people, just so friendly, so nice, so hospitable, and can't say enough about that, because I can name probably 10 or 12 times where we've looked very lost or not sure where we are, not sure where to go, and someone goes out of their way to help us. Pretty cool, and just not something you see everywhere, and definitely something I wanted to point out. Look at this incredible mosque. It's so cool at night too, because people are kind of just here hanging out. There's a lot of kids playing soccer, there's families here, and it's just a really nice, beautiful place to spend an evening. Casablanca definitely has a thumbs up for me. We actually heard some negative things about it right before we got here. There was a lady on our tour in Chefchaouen that was saying, oh, she preferred Rabat a lot better. If we didn't have any accommodations booked, we might as well just cancel Casablanca and go to Rabat, because that's a lot better. And that's a whole different subject, but I hate when people say things like that, because every person's experience is different, and you should never tell someone before they've even been there that a place sucks. That's just a stupid thing to say. But anyway, she's very wrong. This is a really cool place. This is probably one of the more authentic Moroccan experiences you can have. I mean, obviously everything's very authentic. You go to Marrakesh, you go to Fez for a reason, but those places have become tourist hotspots, and you'll get all the things that come along with tourist hotspots, all the kind of knickknacks that are sold, and the soccer jerseys and things that aren't necessarily part of Moroccan heritage. But you walk through the Medina in Casablanca and it feels like you just step back in time. It's a really cool feeling. So definitely something that I noticed, and definitely a reason that I enjoyed being here. It's an intense experience to go in the Medina, and that is definitely when you'll run into more of the people being very aggressive trying to get you into their store. But that's just competition, baby. They're just trying to make their product move. That's all that is. It can be very disarming and very scary for tourists, which I understand. It's definitely not one of our favorite things either, but that's all that is. It's not people, you know, trying to make you feel uncomfortable, trying to attack you, anything like that. They're just trying to sell their stuff, and I respect it. But outside of the Medina, here in Casablanca, a completely different feeling, and it's really cool to kind of have that old world. Oh, here we go. I'm right in the middle of a soccer game here, and it's getting intense. I want to make sure I'm not in the way, because they're having a grand old time. But yeah, the contrast between the rest of the city and the Medina is really interesting, and that's definitely the case in every Moroccan city you go to, but I've definitely noticed it in Casablanca the most. It's such a big country, and I feel like we've only scratched the surface with visiting 3 places. So I definitely want to be able to come back at some point and dive more into this really, really fascinating culture. And Moroccan mint tea, can never have enough of it. Moroccan hospitality, Moroccan friendliness, definitely can't have enough of it. And then beautiful places like this mosque all over the country, just beautiful, beautiful architecture. It's always a little nervous when you go to a new country, you're not sure what to expect, but now that we've been a lot of places and you realize that all the negative things you hear about certain countries, a lot of them just are from personal bad experiences and aren't even necessarily accurate. Morocco definitely falls under that category. This is not a scary place to be. This is a very, very safe country. All the cities are very safe, and the worst you're gonna have is petty crime, pickpocketing, stuff like that. Big thumbs up for Morocco from us, and looking forward to hopefully more Moroccan adventures in the future. Thank you, Morocco, for an incredible experience.